As a result of his involvement on Miami Vice, Don Johnson, who was already a well-known figure in the 1980s, became a phenomenon all over the world. As Sonny Crockett, he exemplified a new brand of masculinity that was prevalent in television. He was cool, self-assured, and undoubtedly stylish. With that being said, Johnson encountered considerable financial troubles later in life, despite the enormous success he had achieved. What did it take for a Hollywood great to move from being at the height of glory to confronting financial difficulties? The challenges that Johnson faced went beyond the ordinary difficulties that come with celebrity luxury. The pressure on the finances was made worse by failed commercial endeavors, which included production businesses and investments in real estate that were considered to be dangerous. In spite of his success, he had a difficult time regaining financial security due to the cutthroat nature of the entertainment industry as well as his prior propensity of spending extravagantly. There is still the question of what the future holds for Don Johnson. Does this once famous celebrity have the ability to rebound from his financial devastation, or will he eventually become obscure? Although he is now 73 years old, Don Johnson continues to be a prominent figure in the Hollywood industry. Despite the fact that Johnson was born in Flat Creek, Missouri, on December 15, 1949, his early life was everything from spectacular. At the age of 6, his family relocated to Wichita, Kansas, where they had major difficulties in terms of their financial situation. Johnson's resiliency and work ethic were formed by the fact that he was raised in poverty. His parents were teenagers when he was growing up. Through his participation in community and school theater, Johnson discovered a source of peace in performing. All of his performances provided him with the chance to hone his craft and increase his self-assurance. The early years of his career in Hollywood were characterized by supporting roles in films that were released in the 1970s. These performances did not earn him acclaim, but they did prepare him for a breakthrough in the future. Miami Vice was the production that brought about that breakthrough. With his edgy style, flashy wardrobe, and one-of-a-kind appeal, Johnson was able to capture viewers while playing the role of Sonny Crockett. The very definition of what it meant to be a leading man on television was rethought by him. Johnson was elevated to the level of a cultural figure as a result of his participation in Miami Vice, which resulted in marital relationships with Melanie Griffith, the release of a successful soft rock album, and friendships with Chuck Norris. However, Johnson's voyage was not devoid of difficulties, despite the fact that he had achieved triumphs. Following his success in Miami Vice, he continued to act in films such as Sweetheart's Dance, 1988, displaying a more emotionally nuanced side of his personality. In addition, he made his return to television in the 1990s with the show Nash Bridges, which earned positive reviews. Nevertheless, behind the scenes, he continued to struggle with financial issues. The price of fame was steep. Johnson has been candid about the challenges that come with living in the public eye, a reality that is made even more difficult by substance usage and the persistent scrutiny of the public. He experienced a sense of confinement as a result of the paparazzi, violations of his privacy, and constant attention, all of which contributed to his eventual financial failure. Some of Johnson's financial difficulties were not solely attributable to his own personal spending. His wealth was depleted by a series of unsuccessful business endeavors, including production firms and real estate investments that were not well advised. The mounting strain was compounded by the fact that there were legal bills and other financial commitments. In 2003, German customs agents discovered $8 billion worth of credit notes and bank paperwork in his vehicle. This incident received a lot of media attention. His career suffered as a result of the incident, and his accounts were frozen as a result of it, despite the fact that Johnson denied any misconduct and was never convicted of any crime. In addition, Johnson's sexual life has been a topic of intense curiosity to the general public. Among the various partnerships he has had, his marriages to Melanie Griffith continue to be the ones that receive the most attention. In 1973, when Griffith was just 14 years old and Johnson was 22 years old, they had their first encounter on the set of The Herod Experiment. Although they were of different ages, they were able to form a strong connection, and by the time Griffith was 18 years old, they had tied the knot. However, their relationship was fraught with difficulties, including cheating on one another and abusing substances. However, in 1989, they decided to give love another opportunity after their first marriage had lasted for less than a year. The couple's second marriage resulted in the birth of their daughter, Dakota Johnson, who has subsequently established herself as a prominent figure in the entertainment industry. Nevertheless, by the year 1994, they had divorced once more, despite the fact that they continued to be dedicated co-parents to their children. The introduction of Johnson to Kelly Flegger, a Montessori school teacher who came from a prestigious family in San Francisco, brought about a more solid turn in Johnson's romantic life. They tied the knot in 1999, and since then, they have been blessed with 3 children, Jasper, Deacon, and Grace. The marriage that Johnson shares with Kelly has been notable for being both private and grounded, in contrast to Johnson's past partnerships. Johnson referred to Kelly as a saint in a heartfelt eulogy that he delivered in May of 2023. He did so in recognition of her love and support during their partnership. In Santa Barbara, where they raised their family, Don and Kelly Johnson placed a strong emphasis on cultivating a warm and supportive atmosphere within their home. Jasper, their eldest kid, has excelled in sports, and Abbott and Grace, their youngest child, has sought a career in modeling and photography. Both of their children have gone their separate ways. Taking after his renowned father, their youngest child, Deacon, is also enthusiastic about music and sports. He follows in his famed father's footsteps. In spite of the difficulties he has experienced in his personal life and in his financial situation, Johnson continues to be a devoted family guy who frequently expresses gratitude for his wife and children. His introspection on the path he has traveled through life reveals a guy who has endured enormous storms in his professional life, in his personal life, and in his financial life, but who continues to move forward. Although Johnson's financial recovery is still dubious as he enters his 70s, it is impossible to deny that he is a resilient individual. With a career that has spanned more than half a century, he has endured the highs and lows of the Hollywood industry in a manner that very few others have been able to do. His capacity to reinvent himself, both as an actor and in his personal life, implies that Don Johnson may have yet another chapter to write in his illustrious career, despite the fact that financial demands continue to have a significant impact on his performance career. Johnson's narrative is one of perseverance, defined by successes and tragedies, and it begins with his humble beginnings in Missouri and ends with his achievements garnering international acclaim. His status as a Hollywood star will continue to be unaffected regardless of whether he is able to restore his financial footing or continues to live in the shadow of his previous success. The story of Don Johnson is one that is full of both victory and anguish, and it serves as an illustration of the complicated confluence between fame, money, and personally challenging circumstances. In spite of the fact that some people thought the customs event in Germany was nothing more than a simple misunderstanding, the stakes were extremely high. His attorney, Ronald Litz, emphasized that Don's journey to Germany was only for the purpose of collecting film financing. Fortunately, Johnson was exonerated of any criminal allegations that had been brought against him. The subsequent media frenzy, on the other hand, caused European investors to be shaken, and the incident emerged as a cautionary tale about the importance that reputation holds in the Hollywood industry. Throughout his career, Don was plagued by financial errors, and the problems he encountered in real estate added to the difficulties he faced. During the year 2006, rumors began to surface that he was having difficulty meeting the payments on his 17-acre home in Aspen. He suddenly gathered $14.5 million just 24 hours before his property was going to go into foreclosure, which saved both his home and his reputation. His tenacity was put to the test in a variety of situations, and this was just one of them. In spite of these obstacles, Don's sharp eye for property eventually paid off and brought him success. Following the purchase of a Montecito farmhouse by him and his wife Kelly in 2013, they went on to sell the property for a profit just 1 year later. Despite the fact that the press attempted to link him to high-profile personalities such as Donald Trump, which was an endeavor that ultimately failed, his capacity to recover from financial difficulties became a distinguishing characteristic of his life. During his time on the popular sitcom Nash Bridges, Johnson engaged in the most significant legal battle of his career. In a lawsuit in which he claimed ownership of 50% of the show's copyright and income, a jury decided to pay him $23.5 million. Johnson maintained his stance despite Risha Entertainment's dispute over the payment, which was based on the high production costs. In addition to the possible rewards from syndication that are still on the horizon, his triumph highlighted the contribution that he made to the series. A journey that is both personal and professional in nature, Don Johnson's path is one of complexity. All the while, he continued to leave an everlasting impression on the entertainment world, despite the fact that he struggled with addiction, encountered financial difficulties, and prevailed over legal adversaries. His unwavering drive, particularly in securing his portion of the earnings from Nash Bridges and navigating the tumultuous seas of Hollywood, is illustrative of his enduring resilience. Johnson's reputation is firmly established, as evidenced by the fact that he was awarded a Golden Globe for his work on Miami Vice and a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. The rollercoaster ride of highs and lows that is his life serves as a reminder of the price that is frequently associated with fame and money on a regular basis. Can you share your thoughts on the way in which Don Johnson has dealt with the obstacles of celebrity and financial difficulties? To what extent does riches contribute to happiness, or does it make life even more complicated? In the comments section, please share your opinions, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories that are sure to captivate you.